WJR. But first, let's ask David Dulio, Director of the Center for Civic Engagement and Political Science Professor at Oakland University. Good morning, David. How are you?
I'm well, Kevin. How are you?
I'm doing well. Does it surprise you that Donald Trump and CNN would be coming together for a town hall meeting?
Well, I think you laid it out perfectly there. That it does seem odd, given the fact that both of them have clashed. That's fair to say over the years. But at the same time, I think that there's something to be gained by both of them. They need each other. They can use each other, and we're already seeing it, right? I think the reaction from both sides is predictable, but also it is generating buzz and generating social media posts. It's generating engagement, which at the end of the day is what both of them want.
So let's talk about Donald Trump first. What is the advantage for Donald Trump? You just mentioned there's some buzz. People are talking about him. That's always good. Is there a new audience for Donald Trump at CNN?
Oh, I'm not sure that there is a new audience at CNN. I think that Trump's benefit comes from the clips that will be shared after the fact that he can go into enemy territory, so to speak, and take on one of his favorite fake news targets. He can be Trumpian in every way and come off combative and defiant, which is what his base loves when he takes on the mainstream media. So it's really play to his strengths and try to milk it that way. So
as far as independents go, because Donald Trump has quite a bit of trouble with independents. We know he has trouble with Democrats, but he has some trouble with independents too. Are independents watching CNN, or will independents watch Donald Trump on a town hall on CNN?
I think that they will watch. I think I should put it this way. Some of them will watch. What we know about independents is that they are part-time political junkies, right? They come in and they come out. I think if we're talking 2024 election, they're not focused on that right now. They're not tuned in. When it comes to spectacle, though, you might have a lot of people who will watch that wouldn't normally, and again, that can benefit both Trump and CNN.
So the independents who are not really paying attention yet, they're likely to see this through, again, clips, whether it's on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or the internet, wherever they're watching these kinds of things, or they might hear it, people talking about it on the radio. Is there a risk for Donald Trump being Donald Trump in this town hall meeting that will make independents dislike him even more than they already do?
Of course, but I don't think he really cares, and he also is. Trump is going to be Trump. We've seen that for as long as he has been on the national political scene. He really hasn't changed strategy, and I think it's silly for us to think that he's going to do so now. And I also think that but I do think that there's risk in. He's going to open himself up here to what CNN wants to get out of this, which is, they want to ask him about things that we haven't heard him talk about yet. They want to ask him more about January 6th. I would bet they ask him about the debt limit crisis that we're up against here in about a month, and maybe questions about Ukraine and support for Ukraine over Russia. So, I think that how he handles some of those answers is where we should look at maybe the risk factor for the former president.
Well, so far what CNN has got out of this is a lot of really upset staffers who have registered complaints over the deal. One who's not being identified for a pretty smart move there says he's going to be taking questions from voters. This was a guy who tried to overturn the election. A lot of reaction like that from CNN staffers. What does What does CNN get out of this? You talked about the buzz. That's good. Nobody's been talking much about CNN for a long time. Nobody's been watching CNN for a while. Is there some credibility for them to gain by being fair and balanced? Are they moving more towards the middle, perhaps?
Well, time will tell on that. I think, they certainly have an audience that they know very well. They do a lot of research into who watches their programs and frankly who they want to try and attract in certain demographics. And I think that it'll be interesting to see if, how they approach the questioning of the former president. But at the end of the day, CNN, like all media organizations, is out for ratings and viewers and because they need to try to maximize dollars, and this could help them.
Is this just the beginning for Donald Trump, or is he going to show up on MSNBC? Is he going to show up on NBC, ABC, CBS? He'll probably go for the networks if they'll have them.
Well, I think that would be fascinating to see, right? You could, and it is even more of an interesting question given the last bit of drama at Fox News with Tucker Carlson, one of Trump's favorite hosts on the former host now on that network. I think it depends on how he wants to approach it, the strategy behind it, and I think we also have to factor in his comments about the first few Republican primary debates that have been mentioned, where he's threatening to boycott those and not show up. If he doesn't go to those, maybe he does do a one-on-one or a town hall type thing with ABC or CBS.
There's calls to boycott CNN. They probably appreciate that, right? They probably will take any media attention they can get right now. Do you think that's the crux behind this? They need people talking about CNN. They got to try and get back in the ratings game.
I think so. I think it works, right? I mean, this is going to generate more interest by non-CNN watchers than they've had in probably years, right? I mean, to this point, anything that CNN had covered was on the other networks, whether it was January 6th hearings or some other political dust-up. This one, they've got Trump all to themselves, and I think they're going to see a ratings bump.
All right, Dave Dulio, Director of the Center for Civic Engagement and Political Science, Professor at Oakland University. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me, Kevin.
Your calls are next, 1-800-859-0WJR.